Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? I hope you are doing great. So today I bring this gist for you guys.
Well, guys, you knew it was going to happen. After the tragic death and murder of Tyre Nichols, this is what The View had to say.
How many times do we need to see white people also get beaten before anybody will do anything? I'm not suggesting that. So don't write us and tell me what a racist I am.
So people can't say how much of a racist you are after you just said white people need to be beaten in order to prove a point and get a message across. Guys, I've made video upon video here talking about why everything has to be about race these days. And I feel like I'm banging my head against a wall because I don't know what else to do in order to change this culture. The second you use race as a basis of your argument, you lose all credibility with me. And Whoopi, what you just said is the lowest of the low. And you should be ashamed of yourself. To the family of Tyre Nichols, my heart truly goes out to you. He was brutally murdered. There's no question about it. And I just hope he's in heaven in paradise.
Shut up. Because that is not what Whoopi said at all. See, this is when listening with intent to understand before you speak comes into play. Because if you were actually listening like a critical thinker would, you would have heard her clearly say, to make her point, are we going to have to watch white people on camera? Are we going to have to see white people in 4K to the same extent that we see black people be beat by the cops for change to actually occur? That is what Whoopi said. The gaslighting ain't gonna fly here, sir. Knock it off, because I know you're not stupid. So don't play dumb. Whoopi asked a question, much like Jane Elliott. Would you want to switch places with somebody black, white person? You see the way black people are treated in today's society. Would you want to trade? That was the point that Whoopi was making. If you aren't going to listen, just shut the fuck up.
So the original video that I stitched with this was taken down, and I figured it would be, what with the thin skin and all. But here's the thing, and I want to make sure this is real clear. What Whoopi said is not what you said. You lied. You told a story. You embellished. You grew it a little bit. What Whoopi said was, what is it going to take for people to do something about this? Is it going to take white people suffering the same as they have? That's what she said. That's not racist, my friend. That's our history, right? Because we are well aware that until white people suffer the same consequences or suppression as people of color, nothing changes. You might want to read about Selma, Alabama. You may want to read a book called A People's History of the United States. My point is this. What you're doing is rage farming, and that's fucked up, dude. And you are, in fact, a racist. Now you have the opportunity to do something about it. Or you could do what you did and double down on your BS. Which is, America, you can do what you want to, but you don't get to not get called out for it. Now, we used to not call people out on shit like this. You need to understand those days are gone. Your privilege, that card doesn't work here anymore. You don't get to put words in people's mouth and call a black woman racist because she's making a very valid and provable point. Ronald Reagan wouldn't even say the words AIDS until he found out his son was gay. Nancy Reagan was against stem cell research until Ronald Reagan got Alzheimer's and there was a chance that stem cell research could save her. It's what we do. Until white people, specifically middle-aged white men, are impacted by what's going on, nothing changes. And what we need more than anything in the world right now is change, which means that as an ally, my responsibility is calling this bullshit out. And if you can't handle the heat in that kitchen, take your ass to Mickey D's, okay?
It's funny to me how you have all this racist smoke for Whoopi Goldberg and what she said, and you're trying to make what she said and turn it into something racist when what she said wasn't racist at all. But that's not the point, is why I'm here. I'm here because it's peculiar to me how you have all this smoke for Whoopi Goldberg when someone else said the exact same thing she did back in 1992. Oh, did you miss that?
We have 59,000 excess deaths among the black population of this country per year now. Now, if we had that great a number of excess deaths among the white population, we would do something about it.
You see? You see how Jane Elliott said the exact same thing that Whoopi said. Exact same thing. Exact same point was being made, but you didn't have any smoke. I've never seen you make a video with your anger about what Jane Elliott said, because she said the exact same thing Whoopi said. If the same thing happened to black people that were happening, if the same thing happened to white people that were happening to black people, more people would pay attention. Jane Elliott said it in 92. Whoopi Goldberg said it in 2023. But funny how you only have beef with Whoopi Goldberg.
I'm sorry, were we even watching the same clip, sir? Because that's not what she said at all. What she said was, do we need to see that also in order for there to be any real change made? And I'm confused about what part of that exactly is racist and not just plain truth. Because the fact of the matter is, black and brown people have been being terrorized, beaten, and murdered in the street by police officers for decades. Decades. With little to no change made. We claim to be outraged. We claim that it needs to stop, but there's been no policies made, no law changes, no police reform. And what tends to happen is when it starts to hit a little bit closer to home, and the victims start to look more like the people who write policies and laws, things change real quick. So no, what she said wasn't racist, and shame on you for twisting her words to push your own agenda.
Whoopi didn't say shit wrong. And y'all not gonna come for Whoopi Goldberg. Black Twitter, we ain't playing when it comes to Whoopi. Okay, I know that. But she didn't say shit wrong. She asked a valid ass question. And it's very accurate. Y'all know what really would have caused the uproar? Of course this caused the uproar. But what really would have caused the uproar? If Whoopi invited all white police officers in their uniforms to talk about this case. Talk about police brutality, police reform, all that, right? And Whoopi would have asked them that question to their face. All of them. Not one black officer in sight. The uproar. Twitter would have went off. We make that happen, please. The View, if y'all see this, make that happen. Because y'all need a reality slap in the damn face. Make it happen.
Let's work on the skill of the day, and that is going to be listening to understand instead of to respond. Because how did you even equate the two? How did you even get that out of what she said? She literally said, I am not suggesting that. I am not suggesting violence. What she did ask was, is violence towards white people, is that what it's going to take for y'all to understand and feel what the fuck we feel? That is what she said. She said nothing more than what your elementary school teacher would have told you back in the day. Treat people how you want to be treated. Don't wish something for someone else, but not for yourself. We were taught these lessons as fucking children, and y'all still as grown ass fucking adults don't get it. And you literally flipping what she said is your privilege showing. You're so privileged that you think that someone trying to get you to understand their point of view is being attacked. Y'all are so quick to invalidate any of our experiences until you can understand. That was the point of her words. So who's really the racist here?
Shut up. We don't care. Your opinion isn't important. This is Black History Month. Leave us alone. Leave Whoopi alone. Go take a race studies class. It's clear that you need it. You guys are so dense. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, about that. I'm a right-leaning Trump supporter. Voted for him twice. And I'm definitely not a fan of Whoopi Goldberg's political commentary. But that's not what she said. Like, at fucking all. That's not what she said. She posed it as a question. Do white people need to be beaten? She didn't suggest white people need to be beaten, and she even said as much directly after the question she asked. Let's be realistic, dude. Black people suffering at the hands of violent police officers is a fucking problem. White people suffering at the hands of violent police officers is a problem. Police officers are supposed to be trained to de-escalate situations and avoid violence, yet that just doesn't seem to be the case. Now, we all know that the media likes to push specific narratives in order to boost their ratings by triggering its audience, but it is a problem. Well, come on, man. If you're going to criticize somebody like Whoopi Goldberg, at least make sure you have your facts together.
And again, a woman was speaking, my brain started to go wah, 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 and I misheard everything she said. You do understand she said, what is it going to take? Not let's all go do it. Huge difference. What is it going to take? White people being beat and filmed? Yes. You and whoever the fuck liked that post, it's not clicking. And the reason it's not clicking, especially for you, is you're a white man. You're at the top of the food chain. These things don't apply to you when it comes to race. So all you hear is being threatened, like people want to beat white people. That's what you're hearing because that's what you want to believe. Let's do a different example. I don't think we get to choose what color we're born into. If I go missing as a white woman, the dogs, the helicopters, everybody's called. If a woman of color goes missing, it may make the night news. This is proven. You just don't like it.
That's absolutely what she did not say. She did not suggest violence. And she said, do not suggest that I'm saying this because I am not. She asked the question, do we have to see white people being beaten in order for someone to do something? Because we have seen black men, black boys being unalived, beaten, harassed by the police for decades because they're still in slave catcher mentality mode, which is what the police is for, but that's a totally different conversation. Before someone would do something, because no one does anything unless it's white people. So that's why she said that. No, she's not this violent person, and she should not be ashamed of herself. You should be ashamed of yourself for turning her words around, but it's typical. I get it. Ugh.
The library is open. Time for a read. Let's go. So what you're not going to do is get up here and hate monger and make it seem like Whoopi Goldberg said something that she did not say. What she said was, does a white person have to be beaten just as Tyre Nichols was in order for something to be done? And since you lack the ability to think critically or comprehensively, I'm going to give you some examples. Recognize her? Well, if you don't, this was Megan Conca. Because a man unalived her and did very horrific things to her, Megan's Law was signed into legislation. How about this little one? If you don't recognize her, go read up on her. Amber Hagerman is the reason why you get an Amber Alert anytime a child is abducted. See what color she is? The 1980s crack epidemic. As long as crack was in Newark, Trenton, Camden, Philadelphia, Compton, Baltimore, anywhere where there are predominantly black people, nothing was done about it. But the minute crack made it to Iowa and Idaho and Becky was getting trains ran on her in a crack house, then something had to be done. The war on drugs was not a war on drugs. It was a war on black people. While black people got prison sentences, white people got treatment. Kind of like the opioid crisis we're currently going through. The point here is, sir, is that nothing ever gets done until it affects people like you. We'll have 50 more black people meet their fate by the hands of police officers and nothing will be done. But if one of you gets beat to death on camera, there will be legislations passed, and more legislations passed. Cops will be fired. Cops will be convicted. And please, before you bring up George Floyd, for that one conviction that we got for a police officer unaliving us, there are too many other cases where they're still working, have their pension while a black person lays 6 feet under. Jane Elliott asked a question. She said, would you trade places with a black person in America? Since y'all want to be oppressed so bad, y'all want to be the victims, trade places with us. Drive around at night in a neighborhood where people don't look like you. Have your heart race when the cops get behind you. See, let me show you the difference between me and you, other than the fact that I'm more intellectual than you. When you get pulled over by the police, you worry about a ticket. When I get pulled over by the police, I'm just hoping I go home alive. You thought you ate. You left crumbs. I cleaned them up.
That's not what she said. She said, and I quote, does a white person also have to be beaten for anything to change? And that she wasn't suggesting it right after she said that. Dude, like, worst ever. I don't know what the fuck you were trying to do, but it didn't work. Like, you weren't using her words against her. bunch of fucking racists in your comments, though.
Except that she didn't say that at all. I can't tell if you missed the point intentionally or if it literally just flew over your head. She literally never said that white people need to be beaten in order for something to change. Her point that she was making and what she actually said was that people don't normally react or want to change unless something happens to them or somebody that looks like them. And obviously, since the majority of people in Senate and in Congress who are able to make changes are white, her question was, what is it going to take before they actually start to do something to change this? Because we've seen it happen so many times and nothing substantial has changed. And so her question was, will it take us seeing it happening to white people, people that look like the majority in the government, before it changes?
Bruh, you know she didn't say that. What she said was, do white people need to see themselves get beat up for something to happen? She didn't say people should beat up white people. She didn't say that. And you know that. And you know, like this rhetoric, but like y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. The fuck? And furthermore, when you say anything which has race in it, you just turn it off. That's the problem. Because first of all, you've never been black. And nobody has said what happened to Tyre was racial. What people said was it's the police versus the people. And nothing to do with race. It's how blue sees black. That's it.
So guys, thank you so much for watching to the end, and don't forget to leave your opinion down what you think, and don't forget to share and subscribe and turn on your notification. Anytime I upload a video, you will be notified.